Morning, everybody. Welcome to Thursday. So I'm down here at Cabin 1. We're going to get going on framing out the bathroom today. So you see I got a little stack of lumber here behind me just to kind of get things going. And part of the thing about this is that this cabin, the plans I have for the cabin, don't have any type of plumbing or electrical plans associated with it. So this is all seat of the pants type framing and figuring things out as we go along. So there might be a little bit of build up, tear down, build up, tear down, build up, just to make sure that we have everything kind of laid out. It's going to be very similar to how the bus was constructed, in that I sat back, walked around the bus, tried to figure some things out, the best way to route lines and cable and other things like that. So it's going to take a minute, I think, but it's not. I mean, it's not that complicated. There's a 3 foot by 3 foot shower. There's a toilet, and then we're going to have a vanity. I mean, the plumbing for that is super easy, and it shouldn't be an issue. And then the framing within the bathroom, the top of the bathroom there is going to be kind of like my utility mechanical closet. So I'm going to have the hot water heater up there. I'm going to have the water pump up there. The AC is going to be routed through there. And my electrical is going to come in through that way and get distributed throughout the rest of the cabin. So it's going to take a little bit of figuring out, but I'm sure we can do it. Again, it's not that crazy. So we'll start to make some sawdust here and we'll get going. But let me show you kind of what we're working with here right off the get-go. Okay, so here's what we're looking at as far as the back of the cabin here in Cabin 1. This will be the basically a mirror image of Cabin 3 as well. So this blue tape on the ground here, this is going to be the wall, basically this L section right here. This corner is where the shower is going to be. That's a 3 by 3 shower. Toilet will go right here. Pocket door will close this area out, and then vanity and sink will be over in this area here. So again, this is just kind of roughed out. I think this was a 48-inch vanity. I think we're actually going to move that down to a slightly smaller vanity, get a little more space, because I'm required to have 21 inches of space in front of the toilet with no obstructions, and I am right at 21 inches in this space here. So we're going to knock it back a little bit, give a little more space there within the shower, and then just kind of shrink down the vanity a little bit. I don't think that's really going to be much of a loss. The stain color here on the wall, this was just some of Rebecca's work. We know the shower was going to go here, so that's kind of where we were testing stains and things like that. So don't be surprised if most of the walls inside the cabin kind of look like this color here. So with that being said there, with that wall being here, and then the top of the room is going to be level with the beams that come across the top of that. So this top area that's up there above the ceiling in the bathroom up to the ceiling in the structure, that's going to be kind of my mechanical space up there. So should be plenty of room, no issues with fitting everything in up there, and it'll give me a good spot to kind of route everything through. What we were originally thinking was that in the vanity, the bottom of the vanity was where most of that was going to reside, but we'd like more of a kind of an open bottom to the vanity there, just for towels and things like that for guests. And then being able to hide it up here in the top really kind of simplifies things, really. And just getting all of those lines and everything down into this area kind of cramped it up a little bit. Some would be coming through the bottom of the cabin, some would be coming through this back wall that's going to be here. So again, up here I think is where we'll make some money here with that. So All right, guys, let's get to work. I got some measuring to do. I've got 4 or 5 2x4s sitting here, so we're going to start framing this sucker out. All right, gang, looks like we got pretty good success here with getting this up here. I struggled with this wall here simply because of this wide opening here. I need that space for the pocket door. And then this wall here was relatively easy to put together. So I've got double top plates on here, and then I need to put another one on the back side because I have this joint up here overlapping. So that's kind of why that looks that way. Nothing is, at least the walls are not secured to the cabin yet, but I just need to nail those in. So the cover, or the openness, the rough opening from the bottom here to the top of the pocket door is less than this. So I'm gonna have some cripple studs in there, and I'll have another couple studs probably running across here as somewhat like a header. So yeah, everything went kind of well. So it's getting around lunchtime now, so I'm fixing to head inside and grab something quick to eat. And yeah, we'll be back out here and lock this thing in. Looks great. All right, guys, final looks here. I just put the finishing nails in. So we're gonna call this completed and done. So some of the things you may not have seen me do, I put some blocking in, okay? Blocking is consistent the whole way around the shower, as well as then down here on the back wall where the toilet's going to go. So that's consistent, that's a consistent height, so I know where nailers and things are. The only difference really kind of in the framing here, these two studs, these are 16 inches on center, but instead of putting the stud, the 16-inch stud from this side to the middle here, I left this gap here. So this is for my plumbing. So my fixtures can fit in here in between these two studs, this stud here and this stud here, and on up to my 80-inch spot is probably right in here. So the shower head won't have any conflict with this angled brace right here. So that'll work out good. I'll put some blocking in behind that once I, get all my connections and everything like that. So everything went very well. I gotta tell you honestly though, there's one thing I don't like, and it wouldn't actually work for size wise. So I have this header across here. Now this is a non-load bearing wall. Okay, there is no pressure coming from the top structurally onto any part of this here. So this header here basically is just gonna hold the door, the pocket door that's gonna slide through there like that. I don't have, now because it's not a load bearing wall, I'm not required to have jack studs under here, under the end. Okay, coming down each side. I would like there to be jack studs coming down that side. It would just provide more stability. It would just make more of a solid connection. So the reason I didn't do that is if I'm going to add a 4-inch 2x4 here and a 2x4 here, that's 4 total inches, I would have to bump this opening to the left. That would take up too much space for a 36-inch vanity right here. I would actually fall less than 36 inches of opening here. So that's not what we want. I still have to consider on this wall, I have to consider the sheathing, what's gonna cover this. It's gonna separate, it's probably gonna be inch thick rough sawn lumber. So again, take off another inch of that. So yeah, the only thing that I caught kind of on the fly, besides we're just talking about that, was the height. Had to be 80 3/4, I believe. So I thought that, I still haven't considered the thickness of the flooring. So I added 3/4 of an inch onto that. So I'm up there about 81.5 inches up to the bottom of this header here from the subfloor. So hopefully that was the right thing to do. I think it was, but we'll see. Yeah, other than that, I would like to have jack studs under there. It is what it is, and I can't do anything about it. But I put a bunch of nails in there, and the door isn't that heavy. I guess I would just like them under there. If maybe I'll put a strap. I don't know. I'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it. That's the shower and toilet area, pocket door, TBD, and then vanity over here. So we got to do the exact same thing over on cabin 3. So speaking of cabin 3, this project here really used a lot more lumber than what I was anticipating. So I've ran through just over half of that pile of 12-foot 2x4s that I had milled up on top of the hill up there. So about 15, 16, 12 footers went into this, framing this bathroom out. And so that knocks me down to about 10 to 12 that I have left on the pile up there. So I'm gonna use what I can. We'll finish up, you know, the pile, I've got to mill some more. So, you know, I've got to look at the calendar here, and one of these days I'm going to have to, you know, drop a tree. Or I may have some other options. I've got some 4x6s up there. I might be able to harvest a couple 2x4s out of that and, you know, just get the bathroom framed out. So I need to get online. I need to order the shower pan, a lot of the pocket door, the hardware, and all that kind of stuff. So need to kind of get onto that and, you know, get more kind of materials coming in. I also need to start running some electrical. I was hoping to have, that was one of the next things probably on my list, was to run the electrical. If I had the back wall at least insulated and the board and batten on there, I'd be able to mount the sub panel, run my conduit up the wall, and then, you know, start bringing wire in from the outside. So yeah, I'm gonna have to sit back and look at this as I'm looking at the top of this. Let me get up there and show you what we'll be working with as far as this kind of like mechanical area. Hopefully this gives you a little better kind of perspective of really the amount of room that I'm gonna have up here to, you know, have my water pump and have the hot water heater and the air conditioner. Air conditioner is gonna be mounted like right up here along this wall. So the hoses and the copper tubing and stuff are going to go straight back out and down to the compressor outside. So again, plenty of space for all that. I need to figure out what my connection from this, the top of this top plate here up to the ceiling, you know, I'm going to have to figure that out. I don't just want to, you know, nail in rough sawn lumber on here and then just have it dangle, you know, up towards the top. Granted, you're not going to see it flopping, but I'd also like to provide some sort of hatch or some way to get into the mechanical area. So, but a lot of good room up here, really usable. If this was not going to be a mechanical room, this would be a place for guests to store luggage and things like that, if they had any. But other than that, they can utilize the loft in the front of the cabin right over there. Gang, that was a good part of this project, you know, behind us. Again, I've got head over cabin 3, do the same thing, but this was nice to get this in, get a lot of the measuring done. I don't show you 95% of my hemming and hawing when I'm looking at stuff, measuring stuff. I have so many marks on the floor here, pencil marks, you wouldn't believe it, trying to figure things out mathematically and stuff like that. So I'm trying to do it right. I'm telling you, I'm trying to do it right. So listen, guys, hey, I appreciate you hanging out. If you do enjoy this kind of material, give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you on what, you know, what my little bathroom here looks like. And again, I know I don't have jack studs under there. Non-load bearing, not required, but I'd still like to have them in there. So I guess I've made that point. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one.